Oh, yeah. It's time to get loud and proud with the Bad Wolf, the man of the hour. Badwolf Unincorporated. The more you know. What's up, people? It is the Wolf. Oh, my Zoom just went all jazzy on me. Okay, okay, let's go. Somebody's ready, like Big Daddy. It's been a hot minute. You ain't used me. I like to be used. It's true. Obviously, you guys know I've been on a break. And next week we are back on full time. So to all the people that did reach out while I was on vacation, and we snuck a couple in there, I appreciate you guys because, well, I do have to keep the lights on, and this is what I do. So we're gonna make it do what it do, baby, baby. All right. So this weekend I actually have a group conference via Zoom that we're going to be putting on. So, to those people who know they are, I won't put their group out there. Thank you for booking the Wolf. I do those things. Generally, I don't do a whole lot of traveling, so I do appreciate people who are like, "Oh, travel down, we'll do a podcast." I really don't do a whole lot of traveling anymore. I've got so much going on here that I need to get done, um, and I don't even know what I would charge and what it would be worth my time. But I do Zoom on the occasion. I don't like to do a whole lot just because of certain people out there always, on that bull skit, and I don't just don't trust a lot of motherfuckers. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so this video is about people asking me about all the different names of like nationals and this and that. So people want a good understanding or understanding about the names, the terms, national, state citizen, this and that. What, like, that's too much. It's too much. Okay, so let's get started. So, the primary term here that is the original, the OG, original baby gangster, gangster is state citizen. Okay, even the term Native American is not what the native people called themselves. Okay, that's something that the colonizers decided to give them as a label. Now you have to be careful because now what I want you guys to do is to start looking around at every mother loving thing out there, all words, all things, even things that you're comfortable with, you may have to suddenly become uncomfortable because generally those words were given to you by the colonizers. And at one point in time, when the original founding fathers suddenly found the country, those who were alive-ish, not any of them really. Um, the corporate colonizers, so not just the ones who came here and decided to, colonize, but the corporate colonizers, especially, the those people who control the United States corporation and those hidden elite cabals and whatever else, and the three-letter agencies with their clandestine groups who launch attacks on people and stir the pot. Okay? Back when they first started getting their little Hail Hydra mitts into our country and into our land and our pockets and, anal probing, all the normal stuff. So the Native Americans, like I said, well, we don't won't go into all of their history, which there's some good and there's a lot of bad stuff that was done to them. If you don't know, the history books has removed a lot of it, but I digress. So the original term for the first people, well, technically the second people, we'll call them that, founding fathers and whatever else, they went by state citizen. That's it. That's it. State citizen. What did that really mean? At the time, and I know people know that I don't like the word citizen. I don't like it at all. Sitai and Zen, okay, to be property of the non-living state, and Zen to be pacified or to be made calm, to be chipped off and to be made into their image and desire. So I don't really care for the word citizen. However, in the old days, it was either statesman or state citizen. And for the most part, they really even didn't say that. If you're from Virginia, they just called you a Virginian. Carolinian, North Carolinian, Virginian. So those words are synonymous. Statesman, state citizen, and then whatever state you were born in, Virginia, Floridian, New Yorker, New Hampshire, and those are all the same things. State citizen just means you belong to the organic state. Statesman, same thing, means you belong to the organic state. Doesn't mean that you can't go to other states and live there and then say that you're from both places and enjoy the benefit of being able to say, well, I'm a Virginian and I'm a New Yorker. You can do that. Totally can absolutely do that. So, what the government did, either directly or indirectly, for the good or bad purposes, is that they were like, you know what, we're going to just call everybody, citizens of the United States. We're all in one family. However, because they're not exactly the same thing, they still have to recognize the next term that they gave us so that we're not all just running around getting all of our rights and freedoms under being a New Yorker, a Floridian, a Wisconsinite, and a Californian. We're just gonna, you know what? Okay, yeah. So the whole group is called everybody in there, all the citizens, all the residents, and all that. You're all in the family. And the big family is called citizens of the United States. But on their public side, they have 14th Amendment citizen, federal citizen, and a number of others, okay, that are just in that block. That's the corporation, the corporate level of things. Okay, those are also their own little groups, but the federal government controls everything underneath them. Okay, now I'm gonna try to say this lightly. We in the private biggest bubble, we're not we're governed by the government, but by our consent. It's in the documents. It says it. It says we the people are governed by our consent. So we're really not governed. We're not owned while you're in the private capacity. When you waive that and start utilizing 14th Amendment U.S. citizen stuff or federal stuff, then in the moment, in that transaction, they can regard you, if they hit that specific transaction to access you, as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen or a federal citizen or whatever else. Now, of course, we've got people in their naturalization in the process and the green cards and whatever else. We're not gonna talk about any of that. That's just gonna leave that in its own little bubble over here. But still, yet that's underneath the government stuff. Okay, so for us, our beginnings start at statesman, state citizen, and then the term national. Okay. And national means all of the state citizens, all of the statesmen, all of the private citizens, not to be confused with private person. That's on the public side. That's under the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen stuff. So that's different. So we are statesmen, state citizen. National then means all of those lower things we just talked about together. Now, certain agencies like police, they don't know this information. So they'll refer to us, which was done on purpose by their legal department, to refer to us as either foreign nationals, but more directly, private citizens. That's all that they're taught. The IRS refers to us as U.S. nationals, but generally they don't like that term either. So they will refer to us to throw us off the trail and to confuse it. as non-residents, non-residents. We are not, for tax purposes, residing into a taxable 14th Amendment U.S. citizen structure or legal person or entity. You're not coming on board to pay taxes? Nah, I'm good, Chief. All right, well, then you're a non resident. The next closest thing is they start to refer to people who truly aren't from here as non resident aliens. Those are all separate things. So remember, when they asked you, or maybe so much these days, they don't even ask you, but they just say, oh, well, we need proof of residency, or you need to prove residency. And you need a piece of mail with your all capitalized name on it, which is a legal person. It's not you. Under Capitis Dimitio Maxima and UCC 1-201 definitions conspicuous format. It's a legal person, especially on the state level. That's usually where you're going to have most of your fuckery. Your name in all capitalized letters to the government is just your actual name. It's really you. You don't have to explain that you're a national to them or whatever else. When you bring your matters to the federal court, they're assuming that you are unless you tell them for some reason that you aren't. But it is good to clarify that, this is here comes you, the living person, blah, blah, blah. But everything on the state level, all powered and underneath their own little bubble where they utilize the political and the maritime, admiralty, jurisdiction, U.C.C, all that stuff. So, depending on who you're talking to and what agency, you may have a different terminology placed on you. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole sovereign citizen thing because we already did videos on that, and that's an oxymoron. We know that it has no standing in law. You can't be a sovereign, which is a king, and a citizen who is property of a city state. Can't be both. So that's all bullshit, that part. So if you decide that you want to call yourself something outside of those terms, which understand this, let's back up to national. The terms national has undergone, I would like to say obfuscation, but I can't prove that they did it on purpose. So we'll just say renaming. Now, as we have come to know, the term national is the same thing as U.S. national. Same thing. Just like the Department of State at one point in time used that term, and then for whatever legal reasons, they decided to change the term. So they went from, in my lifetime, seeing state citizen to then national to then seeing U.S. national to then seeing non citizen U.S. national. Those are all the same thing. Same classification. It's buried within the name. Now, could somebody in there have done it purposely to try to hide your rights? Because non citizen U.S. national sounds scary. Yeah, exactly. They do. How come police don't know about it? Because police are actually, believe it or not, private security. They're not actually enforcing the real law. They're enforcing corporate statutes and regulations and on behalf of the state, but for 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. Now, I'm not going to say that those laws don't mean anything. I'm not going to say that they don't exactly apply to you. But if you are not hurting anybody and you can self-govern, those things don't apply to you. Not saying you can break the law or that you're above the law or anything like that. So don't get any wild ideas in your head. All right. But those are generally for 14th Amendment U.S. citizens, corporate entities for federal and state trustees, officers, persons, legal persons, and how you operate, licensed people. So once again, let me clarify this. I'm not saying you're above the law. I'm not saying you can do whatever you want to do. You still cannot damage anybody in the public or take away their rights and freedoms or do criminal damage. True law. Police operate believing that they are the actual law, but they're not. You don't see the word America on anything. You don't even really see the unfringed American Title IV flag. But they don't know that. They don't know that they've been converted into LEOs, legal enforcement officers. You don't see to serve and protect on the back of them. You don't say, in God we trust. You don't see any of that. That's all on the true public side, which is America. They're operating jurisdictionally within their sections, their areas. They are not the owners of the geographical area. They are the administrators over 14th Amendment U.S. citizens operating in that physical geographical area that are connected to their membership. As a U.S., as a private citizen, a national, and my own national of my own government and tribe, they can't say or do anything to me. Now, some of them might try to overstep the law because they don't know the law and then maybe might make right. But I have the right to do my things privately and to defend myself to whatever extent of the law. But would it be wise to go out and just do wild shit? No, because you're causing controversy. So you can be private as long as you're not hurting or damaging anybody or anything. Those officers who do understand the law know this already. But these finer areas of the law, the legal department knows about them. And the legal department has not been requested or forced to expand on what they teach. You don't think the legal department knows these things? Absolutely. I know for a fact multiple levels of the different administrations out there watch their legal levels, especially. We're not going to talk about the fact that my videos end up in some of these little back rooms and hacked up and discussed and whatever else. We'll leave that alone for now. But you absolutely bet your sweet ass that their legal departments know what I'm talking about. But they haven't been asked to update or to expand upon the finer points of this. You think that police officers know all of the law? No. They study for what, 9 months? They know traffic safety and general public safety. That's it. Why do you think they call in a detective to do the other work and this, that, and the other? Because they don't know. So police only really know the terms private citizen and foreign national. You say foreign national, well, where were you born? Florida? Oh, well, then you're a U.S. citizen. That's the best he knows how to communicate. He doesn't know anything more than that. So for him, he's speaking from his chest, and he's going to try to defend it as much as he can. That's his truth, and it is his truth. But he's wrong because also within that area are Floridians, and Floridians are his boss. There's also what is known as non-residents, non-residents, other foreign nationals that are also there. Does he have jurisdiction over them? No, unless they cause a controversy, unless they request his assistance. Then he can. He doesn't have a that whole like a cop has to die for you and what no, they don't have to do that. They've already ruled in court. Cops don't have to do any of that shit. They're not there to protect you like that. They're there to protect the interest of the corporation. So if they can get money out of you by writing tickets and your controversies because you're a belligerent combatant, they're you think it's really about like them. They only punish you to make money or to control you to make more money. Do you think writing somebody a ticket is them upholding the law when you didn't do any controversy to hurt anybody? Absolutely not. It's about making money. Don't get me wrong, there's tons of good cops and sheriffs and marshals and whatever else. I know some of all of them. There's also some bad ones in there, done some shady ass shit, which is why good cops and good people, private citizens, whatever else, hell, even 14th Amendment citizens, should be reporting them, filing complaints, getting it to people above them in case the whole precinct is damn near dirty, suing them in court if needs be. But let's get back to it. So, the passport 8 FAM 505.2 passport endorsement page 09 code section. In there, they talk about the term national used to be used and U.S. citizen, national of the United States. Now, a long time ago, and I don't have the original anymore. If I do, let's see if I can find it. But it used to mention state citizen in there as well. And they no longer use that, or it's just general terms now. Now, this is one of the reasons, guys, why the system loves digital format and online access connectivity for them because they can remove things like that or modify them. Now, the government is only supposed to do it within code, that which is new and relevant. If it's not, they can get rid of it. But then we lose that little bit. The states and whatever else, though they're supposed to operate for the benefit of the people and to be just, and they've taken their oath of office, let's just say that not all of them, because humans are fallible creatures, um, they fail the test and they do obfuscate and hide things. But unless you can see it and prove it, but how can you when they can change the information on their sites and whatever else, and almost nobody's holding them to any regard for criminal actions, for obfuscating the people? Everybody's like, oh, it's too big, la la la. Well, you know what? Everybody needs to individually file their complaints. Maybe somebody out there will rise up and start making like a I don't even know what you call them, like a campaign or something, and and then do like a class action lawsuit or lobby to your senators and things of that nature. I mean, if you want to see change, that's what you need to do. I'm just telling you, you know that change is needed. I'm telling you what you can and should do. So somebody at some point in time is going to have to pick up the torch and make it happen and rally people to their flame, their fire. I'm just pointing the way to the gate that you didn't know was there, and there's an opening there. So, non-citizen U.S. national is not the same as a U.S. non-citizen national. Those are not the same thing. A non-citizen U.S. national is not the same as a U.S. non-citizen national. Those are not the same things. 8 FAM 301.1-1, and you read those bottom sections. Now, what's funny is that on that page, Department of State doesn't mention the non-citizen U.S. national, but they do mention that on the passport. So let's start there. The term non-citizen means you're not a citizen. It cancels. It's like math. And what does it leave? U.S. national, because you are a U.S. national. But the subclass, okay, meaning not the same, but something different, is the non U.S. or is the U.S. non-citizen national. So the U.S., okay, not a citizen, national. Who are those people? Well, those are your America Samoan and your what is it? It's Guam? Let me just go to the page. Let's take a look again. I don't want to misquote. 8 FAM 301.1. Okay. So under 8 FAM 301.1 dash 1, letter B, 2, it talks about these people right here. So this is why the police officers are wrong. A lot of the government agencies and forms are wrong because a U.S. non-citizen national or nationality is for the people who were previously in Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Philippines, Guam, Panama, because these are the people who could not vote. And look, once again, they double down on it. They show it to you right here. This is the term. This is not the same exact term. They look damn similar, but that which is not the same is different. This is a maximum of law. Some of y'all are so fucking sloppy with it. Oh, it's the same thing. No, on the passport it says non-citizen U.S. nationals are not the same things. Because look, they're telling you who those types of nationals are right here. Ah, Swain, that's what I was thinking. So once again, look, it says right here, under current law, only persons born in Samoa and Swain Islands are U.S. non-citizen nationals under 8 U.S.C. 1101A29 and 8 U.S.C. 1408. That is not the same as a non-citizen U.S. national. These people here, it used to be these ones up here too, but then this was changed by law. Now it's just Samoa and Swain. Those people are the subclass of national. They are, no offense, beneath us. They came later on. Do you see anywhere in here where it says Americans? No. So the passport has it right, but why is that these terms, you don't see this term for those people? Because when you turn in your information, your birth document, and they see that you're from Samoa or Swain, what they do is they transmute those people. Now they're still who they are, Samoans and Swainians or whatever they're called. But when they turn in the passport, they then get squished up into the non-citizen U.S. national. Now that doesn't mean that they're let me see if I can say this correctly. With the use of the passport book or card, when they turn theirs in with their birth document, they then, for lawful reasons, are then construed to be over here nationals of the United States. They get brought into this group. They're not big enough to have truly their own passport group. So they're brought in up with us. They're elevated, they're exalted. But here we see the term US comes first, then non-citizen nationals. They are a different type of nationals. It's right here in the code. Our code is 8 U.S.C. 1101 A 22 B. or 8 U.S.C. 1401. Now, yours might be A, B, C, D, or E because there's different types amongst that. There's subtypes of that too. So when these rock licking, toad humping, off-brand people who are administrators and not the legal department try to argue with me over something, most of them are extremely special needs because they are not the legal department. And then when I tell them, sign off on a document stating what you just said for legal reasons, they won't do it. I will, but they won't because they know they can be held to that and face crimes for that and offering legal advice when they're not licensed or trained in it. They're not even an attorney in fact. So when you guys get a lot of these letters back and they're like, oh, this, and this, and that, if it's not signed off by the legal department, it doesn't mean dick. It means some administrator felt some kind of way. This is where they fail. They cannot give you legal advice. They cannot tell you who you are. They don't even know the law properly. So when you get a rejection letter, generally it's not legal. It's not even lawful. Or I should say it's not lawful and it's not even legal. They're just telling you how they feel. Unless they have their legal department sign off or stamp, and really it can't even be just a stamp, it has to be signed and sealed, then it becomes a fact. But a lot of them don't deal in facts. So what they're telling you is just how they feel on some emotional bullshit. When I used to get some of these letters back, I'm like, oh man, guess I was wrong. And then I realized, wait a minute, I am right. They're wrong. Is that possible? Can I, just this guy who reads this stuff for a living 40 years now, could I be right and their departments be wrong? Yeah, I've already proven it. I've showed you, I've made the videos where they had these laws wrong, codes and things and certain other things. Most of them just copy and paste and feel some type of way. The legal department actually has to sit down and read it and learn it, and then they're challenged on it. But once again, why? Why am I right again? Because look right here. It says, but not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. So what does that mean? We're saying down here in 3, these types of nationals are not U.S. citizens. How do we know? It says it right here. They hyphenated the word. These types of nationals do not have U.S. citizen abilities, but they cannot be denied as nationals, so they're lumped into with the passport. If they present the passport in that moment, they're brought in, so they now have the rights as all other nationals. We are still the superior and primary nationals. These places were like, yeah, we don't mind being American owned, but we don't want to be your U.S. citizens. And our government was like, great, we don't mind owning you, but we don't want you to have certain U.S. citizen capabilities and powers. But you are living, so you're a national, and you can do whatever other nationals do. If you get a passport, then we'll lump you into being one of these types. That's why they say up here, not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens, because these America Samoa are not, and Swain are not U.S. citizens. U.S. citizenship is a benefit to certain peoples or persons. Everybody gets nationality. Even U.S. citizens have nationality by law. But they're also saying, 'cause this has two different meanings, which is a double entendre, that if you choose to be a national, you can also choose to not be a U.S. citizen. You can waive, get rid of, or not use your U.S. citizenship. You can even renounce that. I wouldn't, because it's a trap. So yeah. Now, if you decide to use a term that is not in America's jurisprudence, highest law of the land, you could say, "Oh, but the Constitution says we're citizens of the United States," and then well, yeah, you can do that. Yep, that's true. You are, because citizen of the United States means all of the legal recognized terms that are out there for these United States of America. The U.S. has to acknowledge. They've been hiding it a little bit, or changed the what it is from national to a U.S. national to a non-citizen U.S. national. Originally was state citizen, but you're still in that family. So if you're specifically not saying national or state citizen, and you're allowing them to use the word term citizen, they can then decide which one of the citizens within that family that you are. And it's generally not going to be construed as a state citizen. They're not going to ever give you more power. You must take or defend or stand on your power. Lowest common denominator. It's everywhere. You start working on a job, like you're not going to be the manager or the boss or the owner. You're going to start at floors or fries and burgers and shit. Same thing with them. They don't want you to know that you are their boss, and when you're operating from a private capacity, private citizen, they're not going to sit down and tell you the difference between a private citizen and a private person. There's no law that says they have to. You fooled yourself. You came into here thinking that you were gonna walk out with a handful of cash at the young P Diddy Playhouse. Ain't how it work. Ain't how it work at all. So if you want to use another term that's not in these books, you're more than welcome to use those terms. What I'm saying is, what the law is saying, we don't recognize it. Now that's good and bad. If they don't recognize your group, they can't tell your group what to do. If they're telling me they don't recognize Levitica national government or Levitica, that is a-okay because it's a real thing. That means I'm not in your police or government or whatever jurisdiction. But if it's not recognized and you try to hold them to something, they'll say, well, we don't recognize that. We don't recognize your authority. You're not in our American system or even on the U.S. corporate level. So we can't help you. You get nothing. So it's really in how you want to do things. And I'll be frank with you. Lovitica, my micronation, is not a recognized entity within their system. But Lovitica National Government, which is a separate, also private tax exempt unincorporated association, governmental in structure, is and has its own EIN. So am I going to throw in their face Lovitica? No. Am I going to do anything with that other than put my stuff in its name and keep all that stuff private? Yeah, that's. But Lovitica National Government, I can use that to take them to any of the courts. I can operate as James C. Lovett or James Lovett and go after them for all those things because those entities, those legal persons, the combination thereof, have rights and freedoms and benefits and privileges. So it's up to you. You just need to know the rules of the game. That's why you guys are here. So once again, there are many different names out there, but not all of the agencies use them or know about them. They may have their own thing going on. But the quick final rundown is like this. Police recognize foreign national, private citizen. That's all they got. IRS, for who we are, they recognize U.S. national, non-resident. There's another term, but it was really archaic. It was something like, I don't even remember. It was like five words long as a term. But those are the general ones that they use. Um, Department of State, though they know state citizen in their legal department, it's arcane or archaic, but they do recognize national of the United States, U.S. national, non-citizen U.S. national for us. The state generally only recognizes for them, their people, which are 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. But if you were to put national of the United States, 8 U.S.C. 1401, or Floridian, or whatever else, their legal department would take a look at it and they would recognize it. So you must know who you are. And yeah, that all can be a little confusing. That's why I made this video. Because I was actually going to give up when I first started learning this years ago. Seems like a blink of an eye. I was learning this. I was like, there's too much going on. There's the superior state, the minor, and then there's the estate, minor estate, all caps name, lower, upper, lower, national of the United States, non-citizen U.S. non. I was like, oh, man, that was. So that's why I made this video to help you guys out. So now you understand. If you use their terms, they're saying that you're operating in a capacity that we recognize, and you get certain privileges and whatever else benefits over here. If you're operating something they don't know, well, then you're private, and then they're going to say, well, you're not in the game. So you get none of the cookies from their Diddy backyard party barbecue. All right, guys, so that's it. That is it. Those are the recognized terms, and then the anything you're using that's not recognized, or hut, tut, tut, unless you register the name from the private into their PMA, the public, which is a private membership association, but it's so big, it's called the public. So, or the federal government. So when you register your private name, which there's no law requiring you to do so, and you come out of the private, the Bible says, come out of her. Um, Now you're playing on their field, and your legal name, person or entity, trust, association, etc., now has been recognized and has certain rights, privileges, freedoms, benefits, etc. But they also expect certain things from you and can now hold you accountable and responsible. That's it, guys. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. Thank you to all the people who've gone over to James C. Lovett and gotten those free or cheap videos while it lasts. This will not be the prices are going to go back to normal. I just wanted people to get over to the site and to see there's a difference between the videos here, to give you a good chunk of information, and the very thorough videos over there that are worth the money. So there are a couple of free ones. Um, but understand that that site won't let me make all the videos I was going to make free. Apparently, they're like, no. You have to charge something. So some of them are $1. Okay. If they're $1, that means that the price will probably go up back to normal price at some point in time. The ones that are free will probably remain free. And unless I can configure how to get around their little things, that is just what it is. So sorry, you have to pay $1 instead of, free, or the fact that most of them were $100, for a video, whatever else. Sorry. And that will change as I see fit, or as the AI that kind of runs the site, because AI runs everything now. Kind of good, kind of bad. That's just what it is. So welcome to the new world. On the way out, hit that bell, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for supporting. And every time you guys put a thumbs up, it helps tell the algorithm you like what I'm doing, you believe in it, or you've researched it, it is right, and to promote it. So don't let the, handful of people out there who like to put thumbs down, don't let them win. I need your help and your assistance. Yes, I, the wolf, am asking for it. So like my videos. If you like me, I'm not saying just to like every video, like, just because. I mean, that would be great. But it does help me make money. So if you're not donating, and you haven't donated, then that is what my requirements and requests would be for you guys to get this information. Because remember, I could just like do like my cousin or other people and just make it all. I could take all these videos and literally put them into my private group. Obviously, let's be G about it. I wouldn't make nearly as much money because this is the public side, and I get more clicks and views and likes. But yeah, I could take my whole platform and make it all private, and then everybody or anybody who really would want this would have to pay. But I'm not doing that. I want you guys to have this information. So I do need your help. Thank you in advance. All right, guys, take care. I got more videos for you coming right up.